Buckle up. Hey there, folks. Let's talk about something that's been in the news a lot lately, the Israel-Hamas conflict. It's messy, it's complicated, and frankly, it's been going on for so long, even Gandalf's beard is starting to feel inadequate. But fear not, dear reader. We're diving headfirst into this geopolitical quagmire, and I promise to make it as painless, and maybe even a little bit funny, as humanly possible. Think of this as a crash course, a Middle East conflict for dummies guide, if you will. We'll cover the basics, the current craziness, and maybe, just maybe, we'll even touch on some potential solutions. Don't worry, I won't bore you with academic jargon, or make you feel like you need a PhD in international relations to understand what's going on. By the end of this, you'll be able to impress your friends at parties with your newfound knowledge, or at least hold your own in an internet comment section. So, grab your thinking caps or your drinking hats depending on your preferred coping mechanism, and let's get this show on the road, because honestly, trying to understand this conflict without a little humor is like trying to herd cats. Frustrating, chaotic, and likely to leave you with some scratches. Okay, before we dive into the current situation, let's rewind a bit. See, the Israel-Palestine conflict is like that one couple everyone knows who's been on again, off again since high school. It's a long, messy story, and frankly, nobody's entirely sure who started the drama in the first place. In a nutshell, both Israelis and Palestinians have historical claims to the same piece of land. After World War II and the Holocaust, there was a huge push to establish a Jewish state in their ancestral homeland, which led to the creation of Israel in 1948. Think of it like that moment when your roommate suddenly declares half the fridge is theirs, even though you were there first. It didn't go over well. The creation of Israel displaced many Palestinians, leading to resentment and conflict that continues to this day. Gaza, a tiny coastal strip, is one of the areas where many Palestinians ended up. It's densely populated, economically struggling, and governed by Hamas, a group that Israel and many other countries considers a terrorist organization. So you've got two groups with deeply rooted historical claims, living in close proximity with a whole lot of baggage between them. It's a recipe for disaster, or at least a very tense dinner party. Fast forward to 2024, and things are as tense as ever. Hamas, feeling backed into a corner, launched a surprise attack on Israel. Think of it like that friend who always starts an argument right before you're about to leave for vacation. Terrible timing and guaranteed to ruin everyone's day. Israel understandably retaliated with force, and now we're stuck in another cycle of violence and destruction. It's a heartbreaking situation for everyone involved, especially the civilians caught in the crossfire. Both sides claim they're acting in self-defense, and it's easy to get lost in the blame game. But one thing's for sure, this latest round of fighting is a stark reminder that the underlying issues of this conflict are far from resolved. Section 4. Why can't we all just get along? Spoiler, it's complicated. So why does this conflict seem to drag on forever? Well, imagine trying to solve a Rubik's Cube that's also on fire while riding a unicycle, and you'll start to get the picture. For starters, there's the issue of Gaza's living conditions. It's one of the most densely populated places on Earth, with limited resources and economic opportunities. Imagine living in a studio apartment with your entire extended family, and you'll have some idea of the situation. It's a pressure cooker environment, and it's easy to see how frustration and anger can boil over. Then there's the issue of Hamas. They're seen as freedom fighters by some Palestinians and terrorists by Israel and many others. It's like trying to have a rational conversation with someone who's convinced the earth is flat. Good luck finding common ground. And let's not forget the deep-seated mistrust and trauma on both sides. Generations have grown up with this conflict as a constant backdrop in their lives. It's like trying to break up a fight between two siblings who've been at each other's throats since they were kids. There's a lot of history there. Section 5, it's not just a local thing, people. Here's the thing about the Israel-Hamas conflict. It's not just a regional squabble. It's a global issue, with international actors all vying for influence. Think of it like a geopolitical game of chess, with countries like the US, Iran, Egypt, and Qatar all making moves on the board. The US, for example, is a staunch ally of Israel, providing military aid and diplomatic support. Iran, on the other hand, supports Hamas, seeing them as a thorn in the side of Israel. It's a delicate balancing act, with each move having the potential to escalate the conflict further. And let's not forget the role of social media. In the age of instant information, the conflict is playing out online as well, with both sides using platforms like Twitter and TikTok to control the narrative. It's a propaganda war, with each side trying to win the hearts and minds of the internet. Section 6. Peace, man, easier said than done. So, how do you solve a problem like the Israel-Hamas conflict? If I had a simple answer, I'd be sipping margaritas on a beach somewhere, accepting my Nobel Peace Prize. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. There have been countless attempts at peace talks, ceasefires, and agreements over the years, but they always seem to fall apart faster than a cheap lawn chair at a barbecue. It's like trying to build a house of cards in a wind tunnel. Eventually, it's all going to come crashing down. Part of the problem is that there's no trust between the two sides. It's like trying to negotiate a truce with your arch-nemesis while they're still wearing that embarrassing photo of you from middle school as their phone background. It's not exactly conducive to productive dialogue. Another issue is the lack of a clear path forward. Both sides have legitimate grievances, but neither seems willing to make the compromises necessary for a lasting peace. It's like trying to share a pizza when both people only want the last slice. Someone's going to end up disappointed. Section 7. In conclusion, be kind, rewind, history to avoid repeating it. So there you have it, a crash course in the Israel-Hamas conflict. It's complicated, messy, and frankly, pretty depressing. But it's important to stay informed and engaged, even if it's just to understand the headlines a little better. The humanitarian impact of this conflict is devastating, with countless lives lost and futures shattered. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and helpless, but even small actions can make a difference. Educate yourself, donate to reputable organizations providing aid, and contact your elected officials to urge for a peaceful resolution. And most importantly, remember that behind the headlines and the political rhetoric, there are real people whose lives are being torn apart by this conflict. Let's try to approach this issue with empathy and understanding, and maybe, just maybe, we can help create a future where peace isn't just a distant dream. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to help others discover it too, please give it a thumbs up. Your support makes a big difference. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories and updates in the future. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out. See you in the next video.